Good morning, church. Good morning. Great to be with you. My name is Scott, and I get to serve as the interim teaching pastor here, so it's great to be with you. If you're new here, welcome. And I always think it's funny when we make that announcement, like, hey, welcome, so glad you're here. Don't come back next week because we won't be here. I hope you have a great time away over Christmas. I'm excited for Christmas Eve services to be here, and we're going to have a great time on Christmas Eve. If you're just dialing in, you're just joining us, here's what we're doing. We're kind of doing a touch and go on this sermon today because it wraps up an Advent season. Kirsten was talking about Advent, a season of anticipation, a season of arrival where we anticipate Jesus and we anticipate his birth. And that's not something that is like, oh, they did this cute sermon series. That's something that churches have been celebrating for centuries, hundreds and hundreds of years, that we go through this progression every year of 4 weeks out, we're anticipating. And so we look at hope, and then we look at peace, and then we look at joy. And then we land on this day here, this fourth Sunday of Advent, and we look at the concept and the idea of love. And so what we're doing today is we're going to kind of touch and go, because we are going to kind of hop into Christmas Eve, and everything kind of culminates together on Christmas Eve. So we hope you join us there. But today we're looking at this idea of love. And it's important that we do this because I don't know what your journey to Christmas has been. It's different for all of us. That's kind of why we called this kind of a journey to Christmas, because for all of us, it's different. If you experienced amazing a season of abundance this year, maybe like some big, cool, awesome life events, like this is a season where, yes, this is exciting and you're anticipating Christmas season. It's new. You're going through some firsts and you are experiencing joy and some really cool stuff. But if you experienced loss this year, hope or joy may be harder to find. And for all of us, every one of us, we have a different response to this season. And some of us, we may experience peace, right? It's like, oh, it's peace, but I'm not experiencing much joy, even though it's peaceful. And so it is that every year for all of us, and they're different every single year, it is a journey to Christmas, which is why I love the anchor of these 4 weeks: hope, joy, peace, culminating in love, to review those year after year after year, because they don't get old. And we may change, but these truths do not change. So today we're going to spend time looking at this idea of love in the fourth week of Advent. So if you've got your Bibles, we're going to John chapter 1. We're going to spend time in John and Matthew today. If you don't have a Bible, you can always stop at the Connection Corner and grab one. We've got folks out there that would love to make sure you've got a printed Bible in your hand. But John chapter 1 is where we're starting. And I'm actually going to go to John chapter 1. The verses aren't going to be on the screen, but the beginning of John chapter 1, because it actually sets up the scene for what we're going to talk about, and honestly offers a throwback to the last several weeks. John writes in John chapter 1, verse 1, again, not on the screens, we'll get there in just a second. He says this: "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning." It's this play on words that John is giving us, reminding us that Jesus, this is the setup for Jesus, and saying that in the beginning was the Word. Jesus was present at the beginning. Wait, I thought he was born in Bethlehem in the New Testament. That's where he was born. Yes, but he was present in the beginning. We call that the Trinity. The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit were together in the beginning. So in the beginning was the Word. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. When Jesus's town where he was born, you would say he was from Bethlehem, which I think a fun side note, Bethlehem means house of bread, and Jesus was the bread of life, right? So he was from Bread Town, and he was the bread of life that came for all of us. I just think that's a really cool feature of him. But what they say is Jesus was born in Bethlehem, but these other messianic prophecies that we read over the last couple weeks said his origin was from old. Wait, he was from Bethlehem, yeah, but his origin is from old. It goes way back, precedes his birth in Bethlehem. And John is kind of reminding us of that. In the beginning was the Word. So in Genesis was the Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and he was with God in the beginning. So Jesus, present at the very beginning of all of creation, but was born in Bethlehem, not on December 25th, but we've kind of picked that date to celebrate it, but was born years and years and years later. John goes on in verse 9 to tell us about Jesus, and he kind of flips the metaphor from the Word to Jesus being the light. So Jesus was the Word. He was the bread of life. He was the good shepherd. And then John also says this in verse 9. The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, see this? He's speaking of Jesus as light, and though the world was made through him, he was there as a part of creation. The world developed through him. The world didn't recognize him. They missed it. He came to that which was his own. And I love this. We just sang about Jesus being the king, and Hudson talked about kingship in his prelude this morning. That this John is reminding us that he had authority even as a little bitty baby. He had authority. How? Because that he came to that which was his own, that he had created. But his own, and this is where like we get the drama part, but his own did not receive him. They rejected him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he then gave the right to become children of God. And if you've never surrendered your life to Christ, I've got good news for you. Regardless of what you've done, regardless of what you've seen, regardless of what you've heard, regardless of what other people have done to you, this is true. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. There's no asterisk on that verse. Unless you looked at this on the internet, unless you did this, unless you caused this. There's no asterisk. To all who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. Children born not of natural descent or of human decision or of a husband's will, but born of God. John is giving us the full story that says, Jesus, we're going to get into Jesus' story in the birth and Bethlehem and the nativity and the manger and all that. But John is saying, make no mistake, Jesus' birth wasn't about Jesus' birth. It was about our opportunity to be rebirthed, to be born again, to have new life after we've wrecked ours. That's what he came for, that we would have rebirth. I love this next part. The Word, Jesus, became flesh and made his dwelling among us. I'm going to read that again. The Word, Jesus, became flesh and made his dwelling among us. John says, we've seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. Up until this point, up until Jesus' birth, to get our attention, to get humans' attention, God did lots of different stuff. Lots of different things. And we read about those stories in the Old Testament, which are super fun to read. Like children's Bibles are filled with these images, right? So to get Moses' attention, God from heaven, he's like, Moses, I need you to do something for me. Moses, I need something from you. Moses, I need you to do this. And Moses is like, I don't get it. And God's like, hey, see that shrub? Poof, right? Burning bush. God sets a bush on fire to get Moses' attention. He's like, hey, take your shoes off. And like, oh, okay, you got my attention. So God did that. God sent prophets. He tapped prophets and said, I just need you, hey, do me a favor. I need you to tell my people this. Would you make an announcement? Would you tell people this? The Old Testament is filled with God standing back and using signs and wonders and things that burned and things that floated and seas that parted, and used all of these things to get the attention of his people, to try to rescue them, to try to heal them, to try to restore them, to try to bring them into right relationship with him. And none of it worked. If you read through the Old Testament, it didn't work. People were still separated from God. So he had to do something radical. And John just referenced it. The Word, Jesus, became flesh, and God got down off of his throne. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. He didn't send an email. He didn't send a notification. He didn't post it somewhere. He simply got down and he did it. He had lots of options. And until that point, he'd been using them and it wasn't working. We have lots of options available to us as well to help the people around us. We have many, many options that we can use. And a lot of times we'll exercise and we'll see people do something crazy. And so we just hop online and we give them the knowledge that we have and we tell them, bam, with an exclamation point. And we send them the message. Not only do we send it to them, we make it public and we send it to everyone so that everyone can see it all at the same time, because that's going to change their life. Or is it? Because the model that we have is the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. That was his play. He's standing back going, let's see, I've told them, I've shared with them, I've given them knowledge, I've given them signs, I set things on fire, I did like all this and it's not working. I guess I need to run a different play. And this was his play. He got down out of heaven and he came to be with us. I've been able to collect a lot of unique experiences in life and do some really fun stuff. And years ago, before even our kids were born, a buddy of mine, best man at my wedding, called me, and we were both working a job that was really intense in the summer, not as much in the winter. And he was like, hey, I think I'm going to coach basketball this winter at Wawasee. Do you want to do that with me? Like, let's just go have fun. This will be a good time. Like, I saw they need help coaching. And so I had never played varsity sports. I just, was kind of a hack at basketball. I enjoyed it. He had played varsity, but he didn't know a lot about kids, and I knew kids, and we'd both been youth pastors, and I was like, fine, let's do this. And so we partnered up, and we became the 7th and 8th grade girls basketball coach at Wawasee. And this is back when Kim Zolman was coaching at the high school and Shauna Zolman was doing her thing. They were awesome. It was amazing, cool program to be a part of. 7th and 8th grade, not so much. I heard somebody describe this. I didn't describe it this way, but I may agree with it. The 7th and 8th and 8th grade girls basketball would be the official sport in hell. It's like torture. It's a lot. You've got these girls in puberty learning how to play basketball, and their arms and legs do crazy stuff, and their brain usually is working to play after the end of a long day at school. If you're a 7th and 8th grade girl, you're awesome. I love you. So anyway, we were having, and by the way, the same season, this is when Jacqueline Leininger was playing at Warsaw, Miss Basketball and awesome, and Warsaw was doing great. So we would go up against her and just get killed by her, not even the rest of her team. They would sit and drink Gatorade. She would play and beat our team. It was just that's, and it was wild because our girls, sometimes they would just I felt like they ran down the court throwing the ball to the referee, the fans, just anyone that they could find. Now, Kim he had a great plan. His varsity team was awesome, and his goal was to build a program. So he gave us his whole playbook, and a lot of it was centered around this one offensive play. And he basically came to us and said, would you just learn this, teach the girls this, and as they get better, then you can teach them all the little things out of this, but teach them this offense so that when they get to me, they know how to do this, and we can just make it better. No problem, coach. So we're losing horribly this season. We'd won like a half of a game somehow because the other team felt bad for us. They gave us half the win. Like it was just like, we were stinking it up. And these girls had got beat like 45-6 like one night, and it was awful. And they get back on the bus and they're eating fruit snacks and they're all excited. Yay. And it's like, how does this work? So we go to practice the next day and we're just ready to like lay them out. We're just like, oh, like we're just so frustrated. And we decided to take a little bit of a different approach because obviously what we were doing was not working. So I remember this like it was yesterday. We put all the girls together and they're all sitting on the floor in front of us and we're like, ladies, obviously last night was bad. Like the weeks leading up to this haven't been any better. Like this, clearly what Coach and I are doing is not working. So we want to flip this to you. We want to empower you, right? I've read some cool leadership books. We want to empower you. We want to give you, an opportunity to invest in this. So girls, do you have any thoughts on what we could do different, how we could do this better? Because clearly, like we don't have it here. So somebody tell us. If you have ideas, let us know. And they're all like, no, nobody's, right? And then so we had to back it up, like, seriously, we want to give you an opportunity here. If you've got something that you want, like you think could help, let us know. And I remember this one little girl, she sat there and she starts looking around. I'm just like, you have something? She's like, well, Coach? I was like, yeah. She said, we've been talking. It's like, oh, good. Because on the court, you don't seem to talk to one another, but okay, you've been talking, right? She's like, yeah. I said, it's okay. This is safe. You're good. She goes, we think we need more plays. We had one play that we ran. One. Just one. And everywhere we went, they ignored that one play. They would just throw the ball to whoever, whenever, wherever, and it was not working. And now their idea is we need more plays. It took every part of Jesus in me to not just go crazy in that moment. So, right? So I kind of hold back the guy that's with me and I was like, let me repeat back what I'm hearing. You think we need more plays? And she goes, I said, got it. I'm going to go in the locker room where Coach Zolman has given us an entire playbook with a whole lot of plays. On page 1 is the one play that he wants us to run. After that, there's trick plays, there's out of bounds plays, there's all kinds of stuff. We're going to learn all of those after you learn to run the one stinking play that you've been given. And we're not going to run that play today. You're just going to run. That's all you're going to do, right? And so they all start crying and then they're all sniffling and running in circles. And I've never forgot that moment because what she was saying is we need more plays. Right, you don't run the one you have. How is that going to make you better? They're more complex. They're crazier, they're more difficult. And you've been given one play and you don't even run the one play you've been given. Here's the takeaway for us. We've got lots of options when it comes to reaching the world around us. We can send them messages. We can send them notes. We can power up on our knowledge. We can debate. We can be smarter. We can trick them. We can put things on their car window. We can do all that. You know what God did? He tried all that stuff. He set stuff on fire, floating hammers and parting seas. And then the Word became flesh and he dwelt among them. That's his play. I was thinking about this. I read this week. This isn't mine. Love doesn't just sit back and say, you know what, you got this. Go for it. Love doesn't sit back and say, you got this. Instead, love says, I've got you. Think about that. Love doesn't stand back at a distance and say, you got this. Keep up the good work. Love doesn't say, you got this. Love says, steps in and says, I've got you. I'm going to love you. I'm going to be with you. What if we did that? And if you feel like you're far from God, if you feel like you've done so much that you don't deserve his love, you need to know he got down out of heaven for you and stepped down and became flesh. That's what Christmas is all about, to dwell among us, and that us includes you. It's all of us. And he says this, I got you. Matthew gives us a little different look into the story. Matthew chapter 1, verse 18. This is how the birth of Jesus, the Messiah, came about. His mother Mary was pledged to be married to Joseph. But before they came together, she was found to be pregnant through the Holy Spirit. Dun, dun, dun. Enter the drama of the story. You have to understand, God chose to send his son Jesus into a Jewish family, into a Jewish household, which held in high esteem honor. And you do anything wrong, it's shame on everyone. And God chose to send his son into the world, into a Jewish family that starts like this. Mary was pledged to be married to Joseph, but before they came together, she was found to be pregnant through the Holy Spirit. It's messy from the beginning. Now, because Joseph, her husband, he was faithful to the law and yet didn't want to expose her to public disgrace, he had in mind to divorce her quietly. So before Jesus is even born, we've got craziness already on display, both in Mary and in Joseph. He's contemplating divorce before they're even married. She's pregnant. That's how the story starts. But after he had considered this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, Joseph, son of David, don't be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, because what she has conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She'll give birth to a son. You're to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. And all of this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him, oh, look at this, Emmanuel, which means God who got down and is with us. That's what his name means. And I love how Matthew says it. When Joseph woke up, he did what the angel of the Lord had commanded him to do. Good move. And took Mary home as his wife. But they did not consummate their marriage until she gave birth to a son, and he gave him the name Jesus. That means Emmanuel, God with us. I don't know how broken and how messed up your story is. And if we had a contest in the room, sure, yours would win. Because there are some crazy stories in this room. There are lots of them. I would beat some of you would beat me. But what a horrible contest that is. It doesn't matter. There are no asterisks on Christmas. Jesus came into the world except for you. He came for everyone, but unless you looked at that thing on the internet again. He came into the world for everyone, unless this is in your story and unless somebody did this to you. No. He entered into the mess, all of our messes. And there is no mess he is unwilling to step into. It's interesting to me that this is when God, I picture Jesus up in heaven, like, playing his Nintendo Switch, and God said, all right, the time has come. And he's like, Jesus, you're up, and sends him in. In that moment, Jesus, because he was present at the beginning, he knew the prophecy. He knew what was foretold. He knew the ending, the story. He knew that actually in that moment, the manger actually meant the cross. And Jesus wasted no time and came and dwelt among us. For our stuff, for our mess. It didn't intimidate him. It didn't scare him. Instead, love, which is what Jesus did, what God did, love connects when God enters the broken system, when he moves into the brokenness. He steps into that broken system. That's what happens. That's what love does. There's this Jewish tradition. I read about this years ago. There's this Jewish tradition called to sit Shiva. Okay, follow me for just a second. When someone in a Jewish household experiences grief or loss, it is a common Jewish custom that those in relationship with them who are also Jews, they sit Shiva, which means for 7 days, the beginning of that grief, hey, just want to let everybody know dad passed, today, and, just want to get everybody in the loop. Okay, start the clock. Hey, boss, I'm not coming in for the next 7 days. I'm going to go sit Shiva, which means to be present and to sit with a person in their grief. That's it. That's what you do. Oh, do you use FMLA or do you use PTO? I don't know. You just go do it. You just run the play. Well, what's the play? We're going to sit Shiva. That's what we're going to do. So do you take food? I guess you can if you want. You probably get hungry if you don't. Do you do you do something? No, you just go be present. That's what that is. And that's what God did, is he came to be with us in our mess. And good news, there is no mess that you've created or find yourself in that he won't come sit with you in. That's what love does. I don't like that. If I'm honest, I've been in pastoral ministry for over 25 years. I've never gotten a text or a phone call that's like, hey, can you come to the hospital? Can you come to the funeral home for this thing that just happened? And it was like, oh yeah, it's on, party time. I've never once thought that. If you do, that's weird. I've never once gotten excited about that. But I realize it's the play that I'm supposed to run. That's what I do. Not because I'm a pastor, because I love Jesus. I go do that. Because that's what love does. We run the play. Yeah, but I don't know. I've never been to the hospital. What do I say? What do I do? I don't know. Every one of them's different. I've sat outside the doors before they open and I'm like, okay, Lord, I don't know what's about ready to happen. I know this family doesn't get along real well and then somebody just died. I don't know how this is going to go, but okay, here I go, because that's the play that we run. Here's a life rule that I just try to use in my own life. Will somebody remember that I was there, or will they remember that I wasn't there? There's my decision tree. I learned about this news from somebody, something happened in their life, and here's my decision tree. Will they remember more that I was there, or will they remember more that I wasn't there? And I get that wrong sometimes, but when in doubt, I just go. And I can't tell you that I've ever regretted that. Was it fun? No. Was it easy? No. Was it the right thing to do? Yeah. Because that's what love does. My wife was up here a couple weeks ago where she was talking about New Mercies, this ministry in our community of orphan and vulnerable children and caring for, a baby, a kid, while mom's trying to get her stuff squared away. And you just kind of partner up with this mom, and it's a ministry that helps. And a couple weeks ago, I was on the phone with a friend. We had a little 6-month-old in our house, and cutest little guy, but he's crying and making noise, and I'm trying to talk on the phone. This person was like, did you guys have a baby? And I'm like, no, it's this stupid orphan and vulnerable children thing our church is doing. I'm joking. It's not stupid. It's awesome. But in that moment, I was like, what? This is messy. I'm trying to talk on the phone and the kid's crying, and I was up late in the middle of the night, and our kids are grown, and now I'm got a bottle, and I'm there's bouncers in our house and stuff again. Is it easy? No. Is it showing love? Yeah. It's what we do. If we follow Jesus, we play our part in that. It's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be simple. Exhibit A, Jesus entered into a broken world, a fractured system, and inserted himself in the middle of it. He became flesh and dwelt among us. It's what we do. See, here's the thing. Jesus doesn't stumble into suffering. Here's what he does. He steps into it. There's no stumble. There's no accidental, like, well, how did Jesus get here? Whoa, like, he was riding a skateboard and he fell to earth. No. It was an intentional move that he made. He didn't stumble into it. He stepped into it. So here's the question. What in your life needs stepping into? Here's the challenge for all of us, is to move from distance to presence. Not presence, like, oh, Christmas, yay. No, move from distance to presence, to being fully present. There's the challenge. And then in Christmas, I love the warm feelings and, the emotions of Christmas. And we have family Christmas today, and I'm gonna eat a lot, and it's gonna feel good for a while, and then it won't, right? So I love the warm, cozy, Christmas drinks. And don't get me wrong, it's good. Our son even walked in the door last night and he goes, wow, the house is cozy. Yeah, I love that feeling, but it's not about feeling. It's about practicing love. Oh, and watch this. And just running the play. Just running the play that we have been given. What is that play again? Well, it's love. That's it. You guys can work your way out here. I think you're somewhere back there because I'm almost done. This idea that God gave us a toolbox, and there's this great big toolbox. It's got a lot of things in it. We can shoot text messages and social media stuff, and we can outsmart and outwit and work these angles with people all we want, or we can just reach into the bag and run the play that we have been given. I think we make it, I'm not going to put this on you. I make it too complex. I have made it way too complex at times. I even talk myself out of it. I talk myself out of, well, it'll be awkward. They won't know what to do. I won't know what to do. Yeah. Sorry, it's going to be awkward. It's going to be weird. It's going to be difficult. Exhibit A. I don't think what he did was easy. He knew what was coming. Oh, you want me to go down there? Wait, but this ends with crucifixion, sacrifice for everyone. Frankincense, gold, and myrrh. I don't know if that, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't even know what to do with that. But I'm going to do it. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. So for those of you that have received Christ as your Savior, we have one job when we leave here today. Run the play. When your weird brother-in-law says that awkward thing at Christmas and that thing happens and everybody's like, oh, here we go again. Yep, reach into the toolbox and pull out love. When that thing happens that you knew your boss was going to say and that other thing is going to go down, yep, run the play. Which play is that? The love play. Play that one. Because that's what was done for us. We get to, in 2 days, we get 3 days, I don't know when it is, Wednesday, when we're together on Christmas Eve, we get to revisit the whole story. And we're going to look at it from the beginning. We're going to see what happened. And until then, let's just run the play. Just run the play. Run the play that we've been given. Run the play. God, help us to see you and then help us to respond to you. Lord, you ran that play for us. We didn't deserve it. We actually deserve just the opposite. But God, thank you for running that play so that we could receive you. Lord, if there's a person here that thinks that it doesn't apply to them, I pray that you would just reach into their heart and their guts and help them to realize that play was run for them too. That while we were still sinners, you died for us. That you so loved the whole world that you gave your son. Thank you for loving us. Help us to do the same.